Hello, friends, and welcome to WSIBSettlements.com. My name is Joe Machado. Welcome. You probably came across this video watching one of my many YouTube videos on my YouTube channel at WSIB Truth Matters, or you were referred by a friend or did an internet search. Either way, I'm very happy that you were able to find us. Today, I'm excited to share with you a very significant component of our program with WSIB Settlements that we're introducing to our members and those who need help with their WSIB claims. And that's a case audit, WSIB Case Audit. I'm excited to share this with you because it's probably one of the most important features and packages that I've ever put together in over 30 years of dealing with injured workers, the WSIB and the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm an injured worker like yourself. I had an injury on February 20th, 1986. I'll never forget that date. I had just turned 18, and it literally changed the course of my life. You can learn more about me on one of my videos on my YouTube channel, or a little bit in our About page. But I decided early on, many years ago, that I wanted to help injured workers. And that decision came as a result of having to deal with my own challenges, with my own claim, and finding that I wasn't the only one, that there were thousands of injured workers out there who needed help. And the more and more I've learned about this organization, and the more I've dealt with them on a daily basis for over 30 years, the more I'm convinced that they're not there to help the injured worker. And you probably feel that way yourself. This WSIB case audit came about as a result of a number of factors, but primarily injured workers don't trust the system. And in my experience, injured workers have good reason not to trust the WSIB. I have seen over the last 30 years how WSIB has used legislation and policies, their interpretation of policies, to deny injured workers' claims or make it nearly impossible to claim for their benefits. And you've probably asked yourself this question at one point or another, whether your claim is from 40 years ago or last week. What benefits am I entitled to? Did I get everything I was entitled to? What can I expect? A lot of you, probably your cases have already been closed and you think that there's nothing you can do about it. And you probably question whether or not the WSIB provided you with the information that you required so that you can make informed decisions about the benefits that you may or may not be entitled to. It's probably one of the questions that I've had more often over 30 years of dealing with WSIB. You know, I built the largest paralegal firm in Ontario with over 10,000 clients spread out all over the province, from Ottawa to Thunder Bay, Fort Erie, Windsor, and everywhere in between. We've settled over $300 million in settlements for our clients. And I'm not saying this to brag, but it's a fact. And this is one of the reasons why the WSIB hates me so much and fears what I have to say, because they've often tried to shut me down and shut me up, but they can't do it. For those of you who watch my videos on my YouTube channel, or who were a client of mine at one point or another, you know that I tell it like it is. I don't mince words. And whether or not it's what you want to hear, it's the truth. And sometimes that means a lot, because if you're being led down a road that's going to lead to nowhere, in other words, your expectations of benefits may not necessarily be aligned with the law. And if somebody doesn't tell you that, you're going to have false hope, and then you're going to be extremely disappointed when you don't get what you want and when all levels of appeal have been exhausted. So sometimes knowing up front what your chances are is important. It's as important as knowing what you may be entitled to or were entitled to at one point and how to go about getting it. And this is where the case audit review is so important. It's not just a regular file review like a lawyer or a paralegal would do, or I did thousands of times and the paralegals working for me did. No. A file review is often a review of the file looking for a particular issue and how to resolve that issue. But a case audit takes a much more in-depth review, looking at every aspect of your case, how it was handled initially, what benefits were paid. Were there benefits that should have been paid and weren't? Did the WSIB attempt to limit your entitlement to benefits? And you thought, okay, well, that's what it is. I really can't do any more. Or whether you've exhausted every single level of appeal, and at the end of the road, you didn't get anything. But there may be unresolved issues in your case that were missed. And even if you got to the end of the row, the last level of appeal with the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal, and this is a worst case scenario, and you didn't get what you expected, it could be that there was a much more important underlying issue in your case that wasn't addressed. And if it had been, the outcome would have been different. I have a member right now who has nearly $200,000 coming to her. She had her case handled by 4 different lawyers and paralegals, and none of them looked at this issue. And the issue was so simple that no appeal is necessary. It was just a matter of knowing what to ask for and how to go about asking for it. So friends, I'm not trying to get you hyped up or all emotional to buy our product. It's not a sales job. Believe me, we have many, many members, and there's many more thousands out there who need our help. But what I'm doing is I'm showing you that not always, or that the word no or deny doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the road. And on a better situation, a better case scenario where you don't have to go through these appeals, could be a simple case assessment by looking at and comparing. There's been 3 major legislations over the last 40 years. Each one of them with a different structure to benefits, different laws, how the laws are implemented. And if you don't know how to look at a case, compare the various stages of that case with the laws that were in effect at that point. Every aspect of the law, not just one portion. In other words, not just earnings for the time that you were off work, total temporary disability, Section 37 2B benefits and pre-1990 claims, or a future economic loss award, or a full future economic loss award by applying the presumption clause, or whether your loss of earnings benefits were properly calculated, or whether the WSIB used deeming to calculate your loss of earnings benefits. There are so many different types of benefits that are within these 3 major legislative amendments that if you don't know what to look for, and if you're not focusing on the entire case as opposed to just one issue, you may miss some very important factors. Some of those that can make a huge difference in the outcome of your case and ultimately how you're compensated and how much you receive. So what do you get with our WSIB case audit? The most important thing is you get a detailed audit report. And it provides a description, an itemized description of benefits that you didn't receive, that you may be entitled to receive. It also outlines a plan of action as to how to pursue those benefits, or whether there's still an opportunity within the law to pursue those benefits. And finally, equally as important, an appeal-ready review. You know, I've gone to hundreds, probably thousands of appeals, and there's many times where we were at a hearing before an appeals officer with the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board, or a panel at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal. And we discovered at that point that there were some unresolved issues that level of appeal did not have the jurisdiction to deal with at that time, but should be pursued at the WSIB's operating level. Meaning, we'd have to start on one issue from the beginning. Now, we learned quickly, so that didn't happen too many times, but it does happen. The Appeal Ready Review is our way of showing you whether or not you may have launched an appeal. You may have a date coming up, but are you ready? Are you going to be able to put your best foot forward when you get in front of an appeals resolution officer or a tribunal panel? We provide you with a report that tells you whether you're ready or not. And if you're not, we provide recommendations, real recommendations for you to take to make sure that you're ready and you put your best foot forward at that hearing. And there's so many unresolved types of issues that we can address for you as well once we've done our case audit review. And if your case is currently being handled by a representative, whether it's from the Office of the Worker Advisor, or a union representative, or a paralegal, or a lawyer, this is going to give you a fresh perspective, a fresh or a new pair of eyes looking at your case to give you an honest assessment of where you're at and what you can do to move forward, or whether it's time to shut it down. Friends, thank you for taking the time to watch this video and spending a few minutes with me. You can go on WSIBsettlements.com, find out about this case assessment, WSIB case audit, how you can have one done. We've laid out a very simple process, and it doesn't take a long time to do it, but we're thorough, and we want to give you the answers that you deserve. And I also urge you to watch our YouTube channel at WSIB Truth Matters. There's a lot of videos there that provide really good tips on how you can deal with a wide range of issues with the WSIB. All right, friends, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Have an amazing day.